Wise is a micro brand from Thailand, and in today's video we will do a full review of this Adamascus ADX120 True GMT watch. In my opinion, this is one of the best GMT watches under $1,000 that you can buy. I'm blown away with the quality of this watch and what this company was able to achieve. Now, as always, I'll do positives and the negatives as I find them, but first, let's talk about the case and the dimensions. This model comes in a 40mm diameter. It's about 47.2mm from one lug to another. The lug width is 20mm and it's a pretty thin watch, only 12.5mm in case height. One of the impressive things about this watch is the fact that they actually use 904L stainless steel instead of the usual 316L like you will find in 90% of stainless steel watches. And if 904L sounds familiar, that's because Rolex uses this type of steel for their watches. The finish to the steel is slightly different. It should also offer more corrosion resistance. And speaking of the finishes, very impressed with the finishes on this watch. We have an alternation between satin and high polish finishes. Majority of the case is finished with the satin finish, except for the chamfered edges and sort of the highlights around the lugs. We also have high polish highlights on the bezel as well as on the crown guards. The crown is located at the 3 o'clock position. It's a screw down crown with the Wise logo. And because the crown is screwed down, this watch also has a screw down case back. It comes with 200 meters of water resistance. Before we move on from the finishes, I just want to sort of come back to them again and highlight them once again because I am this impressed. For a watch under $1,000, in fact, this watch right now is around $710. On the website, it says $760 USD, plus you get a $50 discount if you use one of their promo codes. It's not my promo code, I don't get a kickback. When you go on their website, you will see it like the first thing that pops up, and you can use that promo code to save another $50. So this watch becomes $710 USD, which is one hell of a deal for these types of finishes. But the finishes and the fancy steel are not the only two things that this watch offers. We also have a ceramic bezel insert on this GMT style bezel. It's a 72 click bi-directional bezel action, and the bezel action is fantastic. It's very nice and firm, and it feels like a bezel that was specifically designed for a GMT watch. A lot of times what happens with micro-brand companies, they're trying to save some money, of course, so they're using diver-style bezels on their GMT watches. And a lot of times they're either 60 or 120 clicks. And a lot of times the bezel action is very similar to a diver watch. It's a very specific type of a click. On this watch, you can tell that it's a specific 72 click GMT style bezel. And the bezel insert is also very impressive. It's this dual color bezel insert, which for the longest time Rolex was saying that it's almost impossible to do. They didn't really want to do it. And when they actually did it on the GMT Master 2, it was this huge deal. And now we get this dual color ceramic bezel insert on the watch for around $700. Crazy world. What a good time to be a watch enthusiast. The bezel is also loomed. I'll talk about the loom when I talk about the dial. This watch comes with a few different color variations. From what I see online, there are only two different dials. There's the black dial or the gray dial. Of course, I have this sort of gray dial with a bit of a sunburst effect and a glossy finish. And I think the dial is executed to a pretty high standard, just like the rest of the watch. So first of all, we have applied indexes that are loomed. I teased you with the loom. Here's a loom shot for your reference. As you can see, the loom is excellent. Even the local hours hand is highlighted in a different color to give you easy reference in the dark. And the loom actually lasts for a pretty long time. I went to the movies with this watch and it lasted the whole movie, no problem, which is one of my favorite ways to test loom on watches. The element on the dial that I really like is the integration of a date to window at the 6 o'clock position. I also really like the color matching of the date wheel border to the color of the hands is the sort of copper bronze color. The way the GMT function is integrated in this watch, I think is fairly clever. So you actually have this shorter hand on the inside that is sort of highlighting this inner ring on the dial. And that is a 24-hour indicator for the second time zone. And because you have this inner 24-hour ring, you can technically time a third time zone by using the bezel only. So not only can you time 2 different time zones, you can actually time 3 different time zones if you choose to do so. This watch is available on both the rubber strap and the stainless steel bracelet. Of course, the one I have in front of us is on the stainless steel bracelet. This bracelet is excellent. However, it does have one negative that I have to talk about. But first, let's talk about the positives. The finish, just like the rest of the watch, is outstanding. You have a combination of satin and high polish finishes. The outer links are executed with the satin finish. The inner link is executed with a high polish finish. You have this excellent clasp with a couple of pushers for deployment. And you also have this quick adjustment system, which is very convenient. And it's actually a very similar system that I just saw on the Zelos I reviewed. So it seems like this new system is making its way into micro-brand watches, which is fantastic. I think this system is very easy to use, and it's one of the better ones available on the market. A couple of other small details that I really like. Number one, quick release for the bracelet, so you can easily swap between this and the rubber strap if you chose to do so. Number two, I really like this first hinged link. It doesn't really add too much to the overall lug-to-lug distance of the watch. And overall, the way this bracelet fits into the case, the tolerances are excellent. There's pretty much no gap. It kind of looks and feels very solid, well put together. It feels like a watch close to $2,000, not a watch around $700. The last bit of design that I'm going to praise on this bracelet before I get into my negative is the fact that it has this really clever tool-free resizing system. It's very easy. You just pull out the link and you twist it, and then you can resize it. You can take out the links, you can add the links. It's very easy, very convenient, and it also feels fairly solid. It's kind of a spring-loaded mechanism, but it's a pretty good high-quality spring-loaded mechanism, because I can see a system like this on the lesser watch, on the lesser quality watch, being flimsy and almost like you don't want to use it. On this watch, it's really well executed. Again, super impressed with it. So my only problem with this bracelet, and it's a personal problem, but I think a lot of other people will feel the same way, especially if you wear this watch all day, which I have many days in a row. The bracelet doesn't really taper, and it becomes a little bit too hefty on the wrist. So that's only my real small or big negative with the bracelet and with the watch. It doesn't really taper, so it kind of wears chunkier. And speaking of the wear, here it is on my 7.5 inches wrist. As you can see, the watch looks and it actually feels pretty good. 40mm diameter is sort of that sweet spot for a lot of sports watches. It's also not too bad in terms of lug-to-lug distance, just over 47mm. So this one should fit majority of the wrists just fine. And because that first link hinges downwards, even if you have a smaller wrist, you should be able to wear this watch fairly well. The thickness is also great, 12.5mm. So it's kind of similar to something like a Tudor Black Bay 58. This sort of thickness. Can't really complain about the fit of this watch at all, other than the fact that the bracelet doesn't really taper. Again, it's not like a huge deal, but when the watch is this good, you're sort of claiming 2 small different nitpicks that you would want to improve. And that's the only thing that I would improve about this watch, and its fit. The movement used in this watch is the Miyota 9 series movement, caliber 9075 to be exact. It beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour and has about 42 hours of power reserve with 24 joules. This is a great solid movement. It's exactly the type of movement that you would expect in a watch in this price category. It is a true GMT movement with a jumping local hand. There is a little bit of the rotor noise. You can hear it and you can sort of feel it, but it's not as bad as some of the other watches with Miyota 9 series movements. I think overall the way this case is sort of insulated and designed, it cancels out a lot of that vibration and noise. I am super impressed with this timepiece. I think Wise did a great job with it. I haven't heard about this watch brand until they contacted me for a review, and I couldn't be more impressed. For $700, if you like the looks of this watch, I think you'll be very happy with the overall quality and the way it feels and the way it performs. It is also cool to see companies from other countries like Thailand. And by the way, I do hope they're okay, because they did have this devastating earthquake happen just a few days ago. So I truly hope everyone is safe and okay at Wise headquarters and at their factory. I appreciate you watching this video all the way until the end. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this watch. Do you have one in your collection? Have you heard about this company? I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.